With John Wick Chapter 4 hitting theaters, we figure it's the perfect time to go back and look at John Wick's top 5 most wicked scenes.
Or as I like to call it, the top 5 most WICK-ED scenes.
In the movie galaxy of the YouTube universe, you've landed on Frame Rate Studio, your guide for all things movies. I'm Chad.
And I'm Corey. Chad, how about you explain how this works?
Corey and I went through and watched all the John Wick movies, and we put together our comprehensive list of the top 5 most wicked scenes out of the John Wick series. The moments that are the most exciting and the most action-packed.
We've got a title for each one of these scenes. Hope you enjoy it. In the number 5 spots for the most WICK-ED scenes
Just gonna keep doing that, aren't you?
is Shattered Souls. This comes from Chapter 2, where Ruby Rose, who plays Ares, meets John Wick inside what they call the reflection of the soul. I voted for this scene to be number 5 because I felt as though the cinematography and the set development were excellent, which really added to the fight choreography. I love the way that the first John Cooper clone, who by the way, John Cooper's from the band Skillet, gets shot in the head. And then later on, he's got like twin brothers get taken out on the stairs. So it was just awesome the way it all happened.
Yeah, no, this is the whole look of it and everything is just amazing. The whole Hall of Mirrors effects and all of that. When John Wick shoots the guy through the mirror is just fantastic. But the whole MC Escher kind of effect, and then I also just love where it's like where there's knife play and gun play and a bunch of different things. So when there's the knife play between, John Wick and Ruby Rose's character there at the end, she can hold her own with John. It's just, and then I also just love this voice coming in and going, "You are now exiting Reflections of the Soul." Coming in at number 4 for our most wicked moments from John Wick Chapter 3, it's a scene we like to call Ernest Goes to the Library. This is a scene fairly near the beginning when he's fighting the very tall guy in the library. And it's this great hand-to-hand combat scene. And obviously what sticks out is how he uses a book to kill this gigantic dude. It is just extremely brutal.
Yeah, and what I got a kick out of it, how they let him palm John Wick's head, and then also they make him comical because they're in a library and he's the one who goes, it's such a short scene, but it's so entertaining. But yes, the way he breaks his jaw and the way he kills him at the end, it's just so brutal. Coming in at number 3 for our top 5 John Wick's most WICK-ED scenes, we have titled it Hell on Wheels at the Wharf. This comes from the very first movie when right at the very end, John Wick comes racing in with his car and he's attacking Vigo while he's in his car. It's a demolition derby of excitement and fun. The way he takes out the villains through it. The one guy rolls up over the hood. He shoots him as he goes over the hood. You have Mayhem himself is in this scene. And this poor guy, he takes him out, but I also love the way he gets that insult to injury, or insult to death, maybe I should say, when Vigo rams John Wick's car and it just rolls over him.
So Corey, I guess he didn't have Allstate?
No.
Yeah, I think my favorite is, what I loved most about this was just the choreography of the driving, and just everything. I love the kill where the guy's he shoots the guys he's driving around the cement block. Yeah, once again, I could say it over and over, tons and tons of fun. So coming in at number 2 for our most wicked moments, we go back again to the first movie in a scene we like to call Killer Beats. This is a scene as John Wick enters the dance floor at the Red Circle Club when he's trying to hunt down Yosef. This scene is just, the music that's used in it just helps to really build the intensity of that battle, just makes it so cool. I mean, there's plenty of gunplay. I love the scene up on the balcony where he's, the really the last kind of fight with, the head bouncer, if you will, or whatever, head security guy for Yosef, when he throws John over to the dance floor, just that thud. So I just love the scenes where John is like, he's using either the clothing or like another person and like holding them. So there's a point where he's holding the one guy down by his head and then shooting the other guy. I love that in any scene it's in, but that's absolutely great. Just once again, love it from start to finish.
For me, I felt like this is a great introduction of why he is known as the Boogeyman or Baba Yaga. He is just so brutal in this. You get to see how vicious he is with a gun. There's a one dude he takes by the beard and slams his head down and holds him there and then shoots him through the head. Another guy who is behind a pillar, he shoots him in the foot and then he bends over and then he taps the guy on that. So it just shows his creativity of fighting. We have reached that point where we are getting ready to go in to number 1. But also, again, before we get in there, let us know, are you agreeing with 5 through 2? Okay, we have given you our 5 through 2. We are going to give you a couple of honorary mentions. My honorary mention, I have dubbed Wrong Movie, Mr. Anderson. This scene comes from Chapter 3. This is when John Wick is battling the bad guys on the motorcycles. They're having a sword fight on there. However, the reason I pulled it out is, as I said, wrong movie. It just looked too much like it should have been in The Matrix rather than John Wick.
So my honorary mention from John Wick Chapter 2 is a scene I like to call number 2 pencil required. It's a very, very short scene, but it's the scene where he takes on the 2 guys with the pencil. You finally find out what happens when you give John Wick a pencil. It's just brutal to the max. It's just fantastic. I use the same words every time, but it's just so much fun.
Okay, the number 1 most WICK-ED scene from John Wick comes from Chapter 3. We are calling it John Wick, A Knives Out Story. This takes place in what appears to be like an antique weaponry with all the knives and all these axes, so many different weapons. The way he turns his knaves into knife blocks.
Nice.
Just so entertaining. He fills them up with the knives. He stabs one dude through the head that is just brutal. But that choreography in this tight little hallway between them is great. It is definitely the best fight scene. It's the one that always comes to my mind when I want to talk about John Wick.
Yeah, I mean, it's brutal from beginning to end. You brought it up. He uses the one guy like a pincushion, but the kill that is the most is when he shoves that knife through that guy's eye. Just that slow plunge every time. You're like, oh, but it's so good. And then just the exclamation point at the end of that scene where the guy takes the knife out of his chest, but then John Wick throws this axe and hits him square in the head and then just walks off. I mean, the amount of hand-to-hand combat you have to have in this, there's some gunplay in it at the beginning. There's obviously plenty of knife play. That goes without saying, and lots of hand-to-hand combat. It was easily, for both of us, the top scene to pull out of this. It's just because, that brutality and just, it's just so much fun. Great way to cap off the list.
Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. And also, we want to thank you for joining us on our trek through the movie galaxy of the YouTube universe. John Wick. Getting wicked with it. Getting wicked.
Getting wicked with it. Da-na-na-na-na-na. Hey, Chad, you remember when you told me I was too white to do that?